Welcome to Business Reporter's Best of British Business campaign. Fraud is moving faster than ever. Criminals armed with AI and social media are outpacing the institutions meant to protect us. For the professionals on the front line, it's not just about money, it's about human lives, reputations, and trust. In this interview, we sit down with Outseer, a company born from RSA and now leading the charge with next-generation fraud prevention. They'll share how they're helping banks and businesses fight back and what it takes to stay one step ahead of the criminals. John, welcome. John, how would you describe the evolution of fraud in recent years?
Yeah, it really hasn't been an evolution. It's really been the perfect storm. So we take a look at what's happened with just the explosion of digital commerce through COVID, the massive adoption of social media and all the personal information that makes available to fraudsters, and just the advancements in technology, especially various AI technologies. And that has put fraudsters in an incredible position to engage in scams. And scams are a pretty new fraud vector here that is entirely different from what we've experienced in the history of fraud. It's being operated by these fraudsters at a super sophisticated level. It's industrialized fraud, it's at scale, it's professional. It's very difficult. It's a $1 trillion problem globally. And why is it so hard? Because this perfect storm has exposed what we call the emotional attack surface. And fraudsters are meeting consumers on this emotional attack surface, taking advantage of them emotionally and deceiving them. And a good example of that would be a parent who's being fooled into thinking that their child who's traveling abroad alone is having some medical emergency that requires funding. And trying to convince that parent that that money doesn't need to go if they're convinced is an entirely different kind of problem to detect and to intervene on. So it's an entirely different landscape that we're dealing with today.
And where is it that financial institutions, where are they struggling the most to keep pace with fraud?
Yeah, it really is just that. It is that keeping pace with fraudsters is the challenge. It's not a level playing field. Financial institutions it's one of the most highly regulated industries in the world. They take those compliance obligations seriously. They've got a long list of compliance projects at all times. On the other hand, organized crime is, of course, not regulated and, in fact, breaking laws at their free will. So the ability of fraudsters to move quickly compared to financial institutions is an advantage that they're always going to have. When we think about fraud, we do think about those individual cases that you just mentioned earlier, but its impacts spread so much wider, don't they? The human toll, Georgie, of fraud is incredible. It goes well beyond financial losses of customers, financial institutions, the damage to bank brands. When you think about the ill-gotten gains going into the hands of organized crime and some of the most terrible things that happen in the world, we think about the victims of human trafficking. Listening to you talk, it's understandable why you put the human cost at the center of your mission. Putting the human toll at the center of what we do is part of putting our customers at the center of what we do. It aligns us with their mission and their purpose, part of which is protecting their brands, protecting their customers, beating the bad guys. And as well, inside of Outseer, it gives us, all of us, something bigger than ourselves to work for, something bigger than the four corners of our business. And I think culturally, that fuels all of our best work, which is amazing. I mean, the stakes are high. We want our best work. You've transitioned from point solution to modern integrated platform. How has that transformation impacted customers? The point solution characterization I'll take slight issue with. We've been a platform forever. This is a beautifully built platform. It's a digital fraud platform. It addressed a very specific problem initially, which was account takeover and customer authentication. But we've extended it today to include a host of capabilities that now deal with scams and authorized fraud. And that's been a natural extension of the platform. And for our customers, it's phenomenal because it gives them everything they're looking for under one roof, so to speak, in one single platform. A lot less complexity, a lot fewer point solutions, and a lot lower total cost of ownership. Tell me about the tools and the technology you use to stay ahead of the criminals. Yeah, it's data science and technology, so it's a mix of the two coming together. You know, there's the models, which are the math, it's the acumen, the intelligence, and then we have data signals that really fuel those models, and then the technology enables all of that incredibly complex math to operate at scale and at speed. And today, you know, under the hood here, we've got predictive AI, which we've had for a couple of decades now. We've got agentic AI, we've got generative AI, we've got behavioral biometrics, we've got mule models, passwordless authentication or passkey authentication, adaptive authentication or adaptive intervention. So it's a whole, you know, it is the most robust and comprehensive platform for fraud in the market.
If I was a potential client, can you walk me through the journey with you?
Keeping our customer at the center of everything we do, our projects start the same way. So implementing our solution, we would start with the customer's objectives. You know, what are their policies? What kind of rules do they want to have in the system? There's a rules engine that sits on top of all of our data science that reflects the very specific needs and objectives of our customers. And that's different across every financial institution. So it starts there, and then we'll get the solution implemented, we'll get the rules in, and we'll be off to the races. Now, it is an expert system. It needs tuning, it needs care and feeding as banks' objectives may change, or their rules and policies may change, or as new fraud threats emerge. We need to keep adapting and making adjustments and ensuring that we're optimized for those changes. So our experts remain involved with our customer teams.
Now, Outseer was born out of RSA. Talk to me, if you would, about the impact that's had on the company that you are today, that legacy.
So our RSA heritage, it gives us a wealth of experience built up over decades. And it shows up in everything we do, from our data science to our technology to our expertise.
Finally, what's your vision for the future of fraud prevention and where you fit into that? Can we ever stay ahead of the criminals?
I would love to tell you that we can completely eliminate fraud. I think that's not realistic, unfortunately. But as we take a look forward, the fraud balloon is going to continue to be the fraud balloon, and that analogy means when we push in one place in that balloon, it tends to pop out somewhere else. So fraudsters are really good at finding the weakest link in the chain. I do think we can do a better job leveraging all the data signals available, leveraging all of the AI that's available, so the same tools the fraudsters are using, leveraging in a platform, working with our customers to innovate as we have been, paying attention to regulation and what the rest of the marketplace is doing. Yeah, I think the marketplace can and will do a better job of fighting fraud.
John Philby, CEO of Outseer.